The story of Liverpool's docks are told in a brand new exhibition at the Merseyside Maritime Museum. On the Waterfront tells a story of the 300-year-old journey that turned a small regional port into one of the world's greatest maritime centres.
I think the thing I like the most is how it shows that this has always been a changing landscape. So it's very pragmatic, it's very commercial. So you build a dock, it becomes too small, you move on. And then you do it again and again and again, and that's still in a way what's happening now with Liverpool 2, with Peel Ports building another big dock. So it's just great that they always changed and they always kept going, and then it's quite surprising that the buildings managed to survive and we managed to find new uses for them. Because there was a point in time in the 1980s when everything was derelict, not looking so good, the city didn't have that much money, where it could have all just, been flattened. And the fact that they managed to renovate the building and now put them to a use that's completely different but works so well, I really like that. And I think the waterfront now, this part of the waterfront still, brings a real offer to Liverpool. It makes Liverpool really special. And considering it was designed just as a warehouse, it's quite amazing what it's become now.
There's an interview within the exhibition where one of the engineers, one of the architects who refurbished and regenerated the area, said that the pylons, the kind of wooden timber, almost like tree trunks that all of these buildings were built onto, that those pylons were tested in the 1980s and they were found to still be structurally strong enough to support the building, so there was no need, even not quite 170 years later, but even all that time later, there was no need to rework all of the efforts and the industry that they'd put in way back in the 1840s.
Part of the reason why the companies who built the Three Graces is it is a statement of power and prestige. So they knew that they were building a landmark building. It's on the waterfront. They knew that it was going to be a statement. So when it opened in 1916, they published this rather lovely book which contains in it loads and loads of drawings. The interesting thing about it is that it's nothing to do with the people who are going to work in the building. It's all just about showing, look at what we've done, look at how beautiful it is, look at the money we've spent on fireplaces, look at the boardroom. I mean, it just all looks, it's so grand. Because they build the Port of Liverpool building first, and then the Live building, and then the Cunard building, there's some great photos where there's a gap in the middle, and the Cunard building is like a missing tooth. And they're just brilliant, because you just wouldn't expect that that's what happened. And they have come together to make that kind of iconic Liverpool image, but that was never intended. It's just sort of arrived over time. And I think the fact that so many people use the river and went across the river, so often people in the city are looking at those three buildings from the waterfront, and over time it just becomes to symbolise the city for the sailors arriving, for the people on the ferry travelling across, from the people on the Wirral, and that just says Liverpool.